Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has been reaching beyond pain, beyond thought, beyond the heaviness of daily life. We've always searched for ways to silence the mind and soften the weight of existence. And among the many tools we've turned to in this quest, one stands out as both sacred and destructive: alcohol. It is poured at weddings and wakes, toasted in triumph and sorrow. It fuels laughter, fuels tears. Yet behind its familiar presence lies a truth few dare to explore. Today, we uncover the unseen, what happens beneath the surface when we consume alcohol, and how it affects not just the body, but the soul. This is a story not only of chemistry, but of spirit. To begin, we must understand the roots of the word itself. Alcohol originates from the Arabic term al-kul, which once referred to a dark powder used to accentuate the eyes. But to ancient alchemists, it meant more than makeup. It represented the essence extracted from matter, the volatile spirit separated through distillation. Some believe the word evolved to mean body-consuming spirit. In those early times, alcohol wasn't just a beverage. It was the symbol of transformation, turning base into refined, dense into subtle. And perhaps that's why we still call it spirits today. Ancient cultures revered these brews. The Sumerians offered beer to the gods. The Egyptians linked wine with Osiris, the deity of resurrection. And to the Greeks, wine belonged to Dionysus, the god of ecstatic union and divine madness. But this reverence came with a warning. Even then, it was understood. Alcohol had the power to elevate or to destroy. It could open doors to insight or to darkness. In the Islamic world, alcohol was banned for consumption, yet studied in alchemical circles. Muslim scholars, like Jabir ibn Hayyan, known in the West as Geber, refined distillation itself. Ironically, it was through these spiritual scientists that alcohol became more widely known to the world. Over centuries, alcohol transformed from mystical elixir to mundane commodity. What once served to connect humanity to the divine now often serves to disconnect it entirely. Because alcohol doesn't just touch the body, it reaches into the energetic body, the field of vibration that surrounds each of us. Some call it the aura, others the subtle body. But all ancient traditions agree, we are energy first. Our physical form is wrapped in electromagnetic fields that receive and transmit frequencies, much like antennas. These fields reflect our spiritual state, and it is here that alcohol does its deepest damage. When consumed, alcohol alters brain chemistry. But more importantly, it distorts the aura. It creates weak points, openings through which lower vibrational entities or thought forms can enter. As Rudolf Steiner suggested, alcohol thins the spiritual shield, making us susceptible to influences we don't see, but can certainly feel. These spiritual intrusions, called obsessing spirits or astral parasites, feed on chaos, addiction, and fragmentation. The more we drink, the more these forces entangle with our energy. Our higher self, the wise, divine spark that anchors us, grows quieter. We become adrift, like a vessel without a compass, tossed in emotional and spiritual storms. This is why post-drinking, many feel drained, anxious, or lost. The chakras, our energy centers, are affected too. Alcohol tends to overstimulate the root chakra, driving impulses for pleasure and survival, while dimming the crown chakra, our gateway to divine insight. The result is disconnection from source and over-attachment to sensation. Spiritual traditions have long emphasized purity for this reason. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras advise that clarity of body and mind is essential for inner awakening. Paramahansa Yogananda warned that alcohol dulls the inner light, distancing us from our true perception. Even neuroscience confirms alcohol suppresses the frontal lobes, the part of the brain linked to self-awareness and conscious choice. And when alcohol is consumed in group settings, clubs, parties, mass gatherings, it compounds the effect. The collective energy becomes heavy, chaotic. Boundaries blur. Energetic pollution rises. This is why mystic paths often caution against such environments, not out of judgment, but to preserve the sanctity of one's field. Yet even if we have walked that path of disconnection, there is hope. Human energy is adaptive and resilient. Through meditation, breathwork, energy healing, and intention, we can mend the holes in our aura. But it requires conscious effort, a decision to return to our spiritual alignment, because alcohol's promise is illusion. It offers temporary freedom while tethering us further to what we seek to escape. Why do we keep returning to something that numbs us? What is it that alcohol masks, and what would happen if we faced it directly? At the root of this craving is spiritual dislocation, a forgetting of who we are. Humanity has always sought to transcend pain and limitation, but alcohol tricks us into believing the escape is outward, when in truth it's inward. The ecstatic feeling alcohol gives is a distorted echo of a state we are meant to access naturally, a remembrance of unity, of oneness. But when we chase that feeling through artificial means, we create a dependency. We borrow peace and must pay it back with interest. Hermetic teachings say we are always searching for the unus mundus, the primordial unity, the harmonious state of being one with the cosmos. But this unity cannot be found in a bottle. It lives within. The more we reach outside ourselves for healing, the more we delay our return to truth. Plato taught that the soul must rise above illusion. Lao Tzu spoke of flowing with the Tao, not forcing, not grasping, not numbing. True peace, they said, is not found in excess, but in balance. On a psychological level, alcohol reinforces avoidance. It becomes a tool to dodge the shadow, the unprocessed trauma, the pain left unhealed. Yes, it brings relief, but only for a moment. Afterward, the emptiness grows. The cycle deepens. True freedom is not escape. It is facing what frightens us, healing what haunts us, and rediscovering the divine within. The real question is not, should I drink? But rather, why do I feel I need to? Throughout time, sages and mystics have cautioned against alcohol, not from dogma, but from love. Their teachings were not prohibitions. They were pathways to clarity. In the Vedic system, alcohol diminishes sattva, the quality of harmony and purity essential for inner peace. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of equilibrium as the foundation for spiritual vision. When we disturb that balance, we obscure the soul's light, and so we're left with a choice. One path leads to temporary pleasure, the other to lasting peace. One numbs, the other awakens. Which do you choose?